Today, for my presentation, I'm going to talk about culture and life on Jeju Island. So we're going to go through a few of the different things that make Jeju important to South Korea. We'll do the geography, the cuisine, a little bit of the history. We'll talk about the people as well. So, for the geography, Jeju Island is located just south of the southernmost part of the peninsula. It is about 45 miles east to west and 25 miles north to south, and 750 square miles. So it's similar to Salt Lake County. It's like 2 or 3 times the size of Seoul. Jeju was created by volcanic eruptions. So in that sense, it's very related to the Japanese archipelago. Mount Hala, as we saw in the previous slide, is in the center of Jeju Island, and it rises about 1,600 feet above the sea. 12% of the island is covered in a forest called Gotowar Forest or Gotowar Soup. Has subtropical weather, and there are these things called orum. And these orum are small volcanic cones. They're small volcanic areas that have a volcanic cone in them. There's about 368 of these spread throughout the island. Along with that, there's also these trails called the Ule trails. They cover the island with over 262 miles of trails. So we're going to go through a few slides to show you what these various places look like. This is Mount Hala. It's in the center of the island. There's a crater at the top, which is this is Gotowar Forest, which covers 12% of the island. This is the Orum. So these are the volcanic cones that are all around Jeju Island. Wherever you go, you can find these just like random cone-shaped things sticking up out of the ground. So they're pretty cool. This is probably one of the most famous sites of the island. It's called Sunrise Peak or Sunset Jeju. I looked up what it was, and it's like this weird, tough volcanic thing that came out of the water. But lots of tourists come here. There's actually a trail that comes up along here, and you can come up along this ridge. That's one of the most iconic parts of Jeju's geography. So then these are the walking trails. Not everyone walks. You can also ride bikes on them, jog, run. They're mostly focused on the south part of the island. The south part is a little bit more touristy than the north, but there's also trails that go along the north as well. One of the big things about Jeju is its rock formations. So they have lots of different volcanic formations that are formed within the unique geography of the island. There's these things called Dor Hadabal, and these are rock grandfathers, I guess, if you translate it. But they're these statues of these people, these Muslim people that are located all around the island. It's also one of the other iconic parts of Jeju Island. I'll show you a picture in a second of what those look like. They're said to protect the people and to be kind of fatherly figures over the people there. There's also, we have these things called door urukari, or stone fences, that are often surrounding very traditional homes. And they used to surround villages as well with these. So this is a picture of the door hadabang. So you can go basically anywhere on the island and you'll probably see one of these. And they sell keychains of these. I have like a keychain here, these little guys, on my backpack. But they're pretty cool. These are the stone fences. As you can see down here, they often have these fences that surround traditional houses. And they used to have them surrounding the roads and previous village lines. But when this is one of the waterfalls, one of those famous waterfalls on the south side of the island. You can see just the stone formations are very unique. Yeah, there's no water right now, but it's cool. It's kind of a season. There's not always water, but there's kind of stuff like that. This is another one, a formation that's on the hills. I can't remember what it's called. It's about buildings, but it's just a rock formation that's formed on the coast of Jeju. The creation myth. So the creation myth of Jeju is that there were 3 demigods that emerged from these 3 holes on the north side of the mountain. They're called Samsangla. And so these 3 gods came out and they were the three founders of the Tonga Kingdom, which is the old name for Jeju. They married three women that washed up on the shore in wooden boxes. These three women had a pony, cat, 5 different seeds, which helped start the agriculture. Okay, Haenyeo. So these are one of the most famous and important groups of people on Jeju Island. These are the lady divers, the women divers. This culture developed in the 17th century when all the men would go out to sea and the women would be left at home, and they would kind of become in charge of the households on Jeju Island. They're more fitted for diving, so they started diving because they were head of the household. They were in charge of doing stuff at the house. They would often go out and start diving and just find stuff in the ocean that they could use to sell or to eat. They're more fitted for diving over men because they have a higher lung capacity. They can stay afloat longer and stay warmer as well. Their roles increased in society. They became the head of household during Joseon times. And it got to the point where the Joseon leaders started to dislike the fact they were gaining so much power in Jeju society, and they tried to get rid of the fact that they had so much power by doing different rules and laws against them having power in society, but not working. There used to be lots of Haenyeo. In 1950, there was about 30,000, but it's decreased to only about 4,500. So there's really not as many as there are now, which is unfortunate. Women have always been an important part of Jeju culture. They've been very influential in the history. One of the main goddesses of shamanism that's found on the island is called Yeonlin, and people will often pray to her for success while their husbands are on the ocean, and for safety as they go out and they swim with this water. And then there's this lady named Kim Han-duk. She was the first woman merchant in Jeju and used her fortune to save many from starving. So she became very rich from being a merchant, but there were a bunch of people that were starving on the island. And she spent all of her money to save these people and gave them her money. She was granted special permission from the Joseon dynasty to visit the mountain, which is actually pretty good, and they weren't allowed. And people weren't allowed to leave Jeju Island during the Joseon dynasty. They were forced to stay on the island. Tourism is a big part of Jeju. Every year, about 15 times Jeju's native population come and visit the island. The eco sites, like all the Samsan, the mountain, everything, all those things are different things that people love to see. And the flight between Seoul and Jeju is the most traveled flight in the world. There's about 10 million people that come, 10,056,000 passengers that fly between Seoul and Jeju every year. It's the #1 destination for honeymoons in Korea, and the countless traumas and things that go there. Okay, cuisine. So seafood obviously is going to be a big part of their cuisine, like the fish porridges, like jumbochi. Those are a common meal on the island. They also have Jeju, which is black pork. This would be a specialty on the island, and it's a little bit more chewy, more nutritious than regular pork, and has less of the pork smell. Tangerines. If you have been to Korea, you've seen the tangerines. They almost all come from Jeju. You've seen these juices. You drink them all winter long. Thousands of these. They have had these flowers in Korea. They're harvested all over the island and eaten very commonly in the winter by everyone. Water used to be really hard to come by in Korea because of the way the volcanic rocks are on the island. Water used to always seep between the cracks of the rocks because it was very porous and it disappeared really fast. And so they made these different contraptions, I guess, to collect water. So they'd hang this rope type thing so the water would collect along the rope and go into these big barrels and use that for water. But now that technology has gotten a lot better, it's one of their major things they do is water. So Sandasu is a famous water company that brings their water from Jeju. The Jeju uprising occurred in 1948. There were a bunch of communist uprisings on the island, and the government of South Korea decided that they were going to do something about it, and they ended up killing between 14 and 30,000 people on the island, about the total population, just because they didn't want the spread of communism to go into the island. This is kind of about the time where North and South Korea were splitting. Yeah, the government of South Korea tries to kind of hide this. They don't really see this as a bright point in their history, obviously. Another important thing are horses. Horses are a very popular tourist attraction on Jeju. There's three kinds of horses. There's the international race horses, the Jeju horse, which is more like a pony, and then the hollow horse, which is a mix between the two. For much of its history, Jeju was used as a breeding ground and ranch area for these horses. And they were never really used for labor or military purposes on the island, but they were used for horse racing. But today they're often used for racing and recreation. Lots of people like to go to the island and ride the horses around. A very unique part of Jeju is its dialect. If you live in South Korea and talk to people about dialects at all, the Jeju dialect, or the Satsumi they have on the island, is the hardest to understand, and a lot of Koreans can't understand what they're saying on the island. And so if you look, for those who don't speak Korean, I can read a few of what you say, but there's a big difference in how you say stuff, and it makes it super hard to communicate. So like Jeju dialect for where are you going is Boldi Kamswa, whereas standard Korean is Boldi Kashinta. There's a big difference in the two. But there used to be plenty of people on the island who could speak in this dialect fluently. Now there's only 5,000 to 10,000 fluent speakers, and most of them are very old. Most of the young people on the island today don't speak it. They speak either the Seoul dialect or a more common version of it. And it's been named a critically endangered language by UNESCO. So this was just a video that basically recaps everything that I've talked about, but I'm out of time, so I'll go ahead and skip that video. There wasn't really anything in it, but I just share it. But are there any questions about anything on the diary?
I don't know what interests you in Jeju.
What?
What interests you in Jeju?
Personally, I like dialect. I love learning languages. And so when I was on the mission, I loved asking people about the different ways to say things in Korean. And so originally what kind of interested me in Jeju was the dialect and learning how different it was from normal Korean. And then I went to Jeju on my way on my mission, so I got to see a lot of the stuff, but I didn't really get to learn everything about the island. So I thought it was a good chance to learn. Anything else? Yeah.